Hi, kids. You're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice and medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith, the only podcast contractually obligated to say the words koala cola. It tastes just like Down Under within the first 25 seconds of the episode. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, part of the Koala Cola Network, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as lymphadenopathy and a snake sneaks to seek a snack. So I will try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Oh, hi, Dr. London.
Hey, you sound a little down. Are you all right?
No, I'm not. I'm not down at all. I'm happy. I'm just like content. I'm full of love and life, and I feel rested. It's just it's been a crazy week for me.
Yeah. Could you remind me what made your week so crazy? I know you were texting me a lot.
Well, I was, reconnected with someone I honestly didn't even know they existed. They found me, but I actually met my grandchild.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't realize. I mean, I know you've had some like mix-ups with having children, but you have a grandchild.
Yeah. This guy, he drove over to my house and he knocked on the door. Didn't know who he was from Adam. Thought he was probably selling something. But you know what, Dr. London? I said yes to opening that door. I didn't say, oh, get away from me. Oh, go away. I said yes to a new experience, which is this man knocking on my door. And so I open the door and he tells me, hey, my name's Max and I'm your grandson. And it's been a wild week.
So he just said that did he say this is my lineage, my parents are so and so, and then did you think, oh yeah, I remember having that child?
Well, I mean, I just met him. I'm not going to ask like who are your parents to people who I just met like last week.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where, I mean, do you know how grandchildren happen? Like, they're parents and they have their children.
Okay.
And then those children have to, go with someone and then have their own children. And that's how grandchildren happen. So
you're saying there's probably a kid of mine that I don't know about too?
I'm saying that's the only way I can imagine this happening is there's got to be, their parent has to be your child is what I'm getting at.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. But I guess I don't understand what the issue is.
Yeah, just if
you're saying I shouldn't have paid for this guy's college.
I'm not necessarily saying that because that sounds like a good deed, and especially in these times.
That's really good of you to hear because my funds came from a very specific place.
Oh no!
But it's for a good cause. So
yeah. So, but okay, did you take this money from me? Because we have our Patreon account where we make a lot of money through that.
Yeah.
But I know that you have a habit of going through to my personal finances.
Well, no, it's all one now. The Patreon money in your bank account is the same thing. I went ahead and did that.
It's almost like you're expecting me to say thank you right now, but
yeah, I mean, I would say like thank you or you look handsome today. Like I think these are things that could be said more often for sure.
Yeah. Okay. It just.
So anyway.
So you have your
my
grandson
grandkid
now.
Max. He was talking about like what it was like to grow up in the 70s and like like he went to Woodstock when he was like only a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just sort of like how crazy it was, huh?
You're sure he's your grandson? And you're sure that he spent that college money on college?
Well, I mean. I'm not 23 and me. I guess I don't understand how I would answer that question. Like, I don't. Do you want to take my
Yeah.
blood? You're the doctor.
Yeah, these are. I feel like even at the most basic questions, it really is getting you stumped. So to ask anything complicated, I don't see us getting
I
anywhere.
feel like I've given you just a lot of details to already work with. A man showed up on my doorstep. He said, "I'm your grandson. I need money for college." And then he started talking about how great the 70s were. And then we got like really drunk, and we've just been hanging out most of the week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I mean, on a basic level, there. And I don't want to get into our ages on this, but like you were born after the 70s, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's how numbers work.
So,
I'm not stupid.
Yeah, you know what? Anyway, we can move on from there if that, unless you need to.
No, I mean, you asked why I was acting the way I was acting. My life is full of love and purpose now. Suddenly I have a drive. I have something to work towards and take care of.
Yeah. I mean, which translated into you just taking my money and giving
the Patreon money, which is combined with both of our bank accounts. It's all one pot now.
So that's our producer Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the house.
But I actually met my grandchild. A man showed up on my doorstep. He said, "I'm your grandson. I need money for college." And then he started talking about how great the 70s were. And then we got like really drunk, and we've just been hanging out most of the week. But I actually met my grandchild. 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 But I actually met. But I actually met. But I
actually met his grandchild, and he believes in no questions asked. Another friend, another bonding, another hanging out, another sobbing over the price of college tuition. But I actually met his grandchild.
I actually met my grandchild.
And later, Cameron tells us we could expect some special guests.
That's right, Dr. London.
Oh, yeah, great. So look forward to that. But before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. This note comes from one lucky factory worker at the Koala Cola Kid Zone.
Whoa!
Who scraped the mold, from the sides of enough vats of used Koala Cola to mail in their question to the Jock podcast. So congratulations to this lucky Koala Cola scraper.
And maybe we should, explain for people who might not be familiar.
Oh, yes. I'm
so
sorry.
We joined a new podcast network just a few episodes ago on episode 100. And we are on the official podcast network of Koala Cola, the Australian soda company.
It tastes just like down under.
Yep. And that right there is Crampy Koala. He's been hanging out with us a little bit. And it's been great. It's been fine.
And it's been great. It's been easy to deal with.
It's easy to deal with, and it's not just a problem. That's fine, Crampy. Go. Yep. Just go. Yep. Just sit down over there. DJ Dylan, just mute.
Sit. Can you please sit?
Mute his
please
microphone. Just mute his microphone. Okay.
Great Barrier Reef.
Okay.
Okay.
It nails on a chalkboard, man.
It was cute for anyway. So congratulations to this lucky Koala Cola scraper.
I don't even think it was cute, dude. I think it was the Koala Cola. Like, I think it changed the way I was thinking.
Oh, and that brings up one little point that we should bring up, and it's contractual. So there are no koala parts.
Oh,
there are no, pieces of koala in Koala Cola. Some people ask that, and it's a funny question, but it's really a misleading one. So we just want to let everyone know real quick. There are no koalas in there, and also that no factory workers are harmed. The Koala Cola Kid Zone is actually a really child-friendly environment. These are just things that kind of get twisted in the media.
Yeah, and there was a lot of talk about the bin outside of the Koala Cola factory that was labeled koala limbs. But those are just limbs, like tree limbs.
Yeah, tree
that
limbs.
they were planning on giving to koalas so they could climb all over.
Yeah, they love that stuff.
They love that stuff.
It tastes just like their laundry.
Not that it matters, because there's no koalas in the factory.
No,
we're
no
talking about just
koalas in it, no.
just wild koalas,
No, it's a brand.
like 50 miles away from the factory.
It's just a brand. Yeah, no, it's they.
So
it's
that's
a
what.
spokesperson,
Yeah, that's
but-
what the limbs were for.
Yeah. So anyway, the note reads, quote, "Please help me. I have breathed in so much mold. I keep coughing up small creatures like that kid in Stranger Things." End quote.
And this is an interesting, phenomenon, Dr. London. Like the sort of like, you know how it's rained frogs before in the past? Like they'll have tadpoles or whatever that get evaporated up because they're so tiny and then sort of develop a little bit and then fall. And like weird stories like that. In the same way, if you breathe in enough mold is alive, Dr. London. It's not dead. It is a living, breathing thing.
Yeah, usually, but it'll cause infection. Yeah, it'll be trying to grow, just like bacteria in your lungs can grow,
which is also
and become,
alive, and it's just a living thing.
Yeah, and that's why an infection is essentially a living, multiplying, group of creatures.
And so it's
in
normal.
In this case,
yeah, just to that listener, it's completely normal. And I consider this new creature that's come out of you as maybe a friend. I know it might be a hard adjustment if you don't have pets or you're not used to it, but it can be difficult, but it's worth it.
Yeah, and so I, medically, I would definitely say, like, if you think you have a fungal infection in your lungs, like you should have that looked at. But as Cameron said, I don't know the whole situation. If you've never had a dog, if you've never had a cat,
right?
You might be unfamiliar with how pets work. So it's one of those things where unless I see you in my office, it's really hard to tell. So. I guess to this listener...
Is this what you're going to be doing going forward, is the listener questions, you're just going to recommend that they come into your office and give you money?
For this one scraped up enough of the mold to get their question answered, so I don't want to just... But like, based on what I know so far, either of our answers could be correct. Either they do need to come in and this is actually a serious problem, or possibly it's a pet.
Are you hoping that it's like a girl? Like, are you trying to meet someone? Is that what this is?
No, that's not usually how I approach these. No, that's I thank you for assuming that I'm. But no, I. Anyway, so let's so we'd love to hear back from our listeners, but thank you for listening. Thank you for the feedback, and I hope you scrape all those vats and you keep having a great time.
And I just hope you have a good time in general. I hope you have a good day.
Yeah. Now for today's medical topic, primary biliary cholangitis. Primary biliary cholangitis, along with some of the other topics we've been covering, is a cause of liver cirrhosis. Primary biliary cholangitis is a chronic and progressive cholestatic liver disease characterized by the destruction of intrahepatic bile ducts with portal inflammation and scarring. So... Unlike primary sclerosing cholangitis, and I believe we talked about that last week, primary biliary cholangitis primarily occurs in women and is located more in the bile ducts within the liver. So you won't see it on imaging.
Sexist.
It's
you promote this, you give this to people, what do you do with this?
No, this is a disease. I don't have a hand in it. This disease has a predilection for women. That's not what I do. I only diagnose.
You're like the wingman. That's all you're doing. So you don't feel like you did anything wrong.
No, I'm more the one who walks in after the fact. Like I just see that something has happened, and I'm the one who's, called in to deal with it. If that makes sense.
I don't know, man. It just sounds like. Is this someone you're trying to get into your office too? Who is this?
This isn't one person. This is a disease, not a person. In any case, so you won't see it on imaging. Some people remember that it's for women now you're going to hate me. Okay. They remember it because they associate the B in PBC, primary biliary cholangitis, with there's another word for ladies that also begins with a B, and so
that was important to put into your lesson.
It's a medical mnemonic. It's sometimes helpful for people to remember that this one, unlike the other one, is more in women.
And the only way is because of what? PBS.
It's PBC is the initials of the disease, and then the B in it. The B is there's another word.
Yeah.
And it's the
and
name.
You're fine with this.
This is just a way to remember. It's the name. It's also a name.
You're just saying, well, it's a sexist disease, so what are you expecting? Is that your response to it?
I guess. I mean, more or less. I suppose that is. We see it how it is, and we just report on it. You know what I mean?
I guess. I mean, this whole podcast seems to be like you trying to remove yourself from all these diseases that you keep causing people and like giving to people.
Okay, I should.
And you're
I should
just like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah. So I haven't given anyone this disease, or as far as I'm aware, I don't think I've given people any of the diseases that we've talked about. But in any case, primary biliary cholangitis is a slowly progressive autoimmune disease with a variable course that is often associated with other autoimmune disorders and most commonly presents in women in their 40s or 50s. Clinically, patients may present with fatigue and itching, with labs showing normal bilirubin and an elevated alkaline phosphatase. The most characteristic features of primary biliary cholangitis are xanthelasma and xanthoma, which are they're terms for a collection of cholesterol under the skin that's yellowish in color. So that can appear around the eyelids and that kind of thing. These patients may also have osteoporosis. So along with these, they could also have symptoms of liver disease, such as portal hypertension and jaundice, because remember, this is one of the causes of cirrhosis. Diagnostic testing includes liver biopsy, which is the most accurate test, but the most accurate blood test is the antimitochondrial antibody. Bilirubin IgM levels may be elevated in very advanced disease. Abdominal ultrasound.
And you call that, like, to remember antibody, you call that like asshole or something?
No, so
this is what you doctors do behind closed doors?
Yes.
No, so I do try to, keep... I don't try to use those mnemonics all the time. There are a few that, for whatever reason, they stuck, and so, PBC, you tend to the B in it. You remember.
And why not use the C? The C is also a word.
Yeah, it's just to differentiate. In any case, abdominal ultrasound or CT scan can be used to rule out biliary obstruction, because that can also be a cause of some of these symptoms. Treatment is with ursodeoxycholic acid or obeticholic acid, which is that decreases the fibrosis, along with treating the osteoporosis. So depending on the severity of the disease, a liver transplant may also be necessary. And
you're not even going to attempt to try to like come up with something better than bitch?
No, it should.
What about C for chick?
Well, yeah, I guess
that's not like a little better.
Yeah, now that I'm hearing it. Anyway,
it seems like all these people that you're giving these diseases, like, I feel like if you're going to be in sort of a risky job like that, you have to at least respect your patients. Like, you can't be barging in and saying, "What's up, bitch?"
Yeah, no, and that's not really how it's just a way to remember to differentiate this disease from another one that's pretty similar. But we can. Would it be all right if we could address it later, maybe, and bring it back? But let's move on for now, maybe.
What if you accidentally think the B is for boy?
Yeah,
doesn't that probably make more sense than assuming, oh, it's for women, so it's got to be bitch?
Well, that's why we memorize it. Like, I've memorized what it is, that it's not boy, that it's that, yeah.
So you can memorize that that the B here is not boy, it stands for bitch, but you can't remember PBC.
At this point, I think I could, but and maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just passing on the wrong lesson. Oh boy. But yeah, we could, if we want to go ahead and move on from there.
Do you want to like maybe apologize to Koala Cola?
Yes, I should. Yeah. So, on behalf of the Jock Talk podcast, I apologize to Koala Cola for, if I misrepresented their brand, which their strong position is that they do not want to get canceled. That's a big position they have. And the last thing I want is to contribute to a cancellation of their wonderful brand. So, and we appreciate being business partners with them. So,
and I don't think it would hurt to mention, like, just while we're on the subject, like, look, was there a sack found outside the Koala Cola factory that like was oozing with some sort of red liquid that was coming out of the bottom? Absolutely.
Sure.
I don't think anyone is even denying that happened.
And that's normal.
But I mean, like, okay, my car's leaking oil. Do you assume that there are, dead koalas in the trunk? Like, things leak.
It's crazy.
There's puddles of stuff everywhere. There are so many puddles of things. Like, why are you so obsessed with this one puddle?
It is weird how obsessed people can be about it.
People are obsessed with this red puddle that was underneath this sack outside of the Koala Cola factory.
It's creeping me out how
get
obsessed people
over it.
are.
Yeah, get a life.
And anyway, so we can move on from there then. I think we've covered our bases pretty well. All right, Cameron, you said that we have a guest today, or is it 2 guests or 1?
Ooh, that is an interesting question. I mean, I guess let's see. Like if we do,
okay, you're taking out the Rolodex.
If we take
so you still use a Rolodex?
If you do X, because if A plus B equals C, then that would also
now I've seen you with
that C
doing algebra
minus
before.
B equals A.
So I'll just say hi to them. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm lost in my math.
Yeah. No, I know you get that way. Well, hello there. My name is Dr. LondonSmith.com, and this is our producer Cameron.
Hi.
What was your name?
My name is Collin O'Donnell. I am so excited to be here today.
Great.
And Cameron, can I just say you have one of the most sexy voices I've ever heard in my life.
Oh wow! Thank you so much. I mean,
do you practice that?
No,
or?
I mean, I obviously the sexiest voice on this podcast is DJ Dylan's.
Yes.
And I don't want to take that away from him, but it's really nice of you to pretend that mine is sexier.
I'm not pretending. No, I'm seriously sitting here.
No, we're going to get in legal trouble here if we keep doing that because it really is DJ Dylan's voice.
Well, yes.
I just have to say it's just absolutely gorgeous.
If we don't continuously sort of affirm how hot DJ Dylan is, he edits
really
the
doesn't go well
podcast
for us.
into nonsense.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
He
DJ Dylan,
scrambles
if you're
it.
listening, I am sure. Okay, well, DJ Dylan, if you're listening, you have one of the most sexy voices I've ever heard in my life. DJ Dylan voices most sexy. DJ Dylan voices most sexy. DJ Dylan voices most sexy. DJ Dylan voices most sexy.
DJ Dylan voices most sexy.
Yeah. Well, and no, he is in the corner there, DJing this as we speak. So I don't want to be. There's the imminent threat of we don't want to cross him. We've never done it, and I'm just so scared of what could happen if we.
He's going to
if we did
scramble
something
the
wrong here.
episodes. We know exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's threatened, and it's in the contract, and it's why it's been smooth sailing so far. So, Mr. O'Donnell, I don't want to be, but like, if we could just, I love the flattery, but like keep it aimed at the right place because a lot is on the line here.
But I thank you though. I really appreciate it. It's a good compliment.
Don't accept it. You don't accept it.
No, I
but
don't because it's
obviously-
not real and it's fake, Dylan.
DJ Dylan voices most sexy.
In any case.
Anyway,
hello there. What brings you to the Jock Talk podcast?
Well, I came here because I've been on a very long journey. And it's very hard for me to talk about because it's so emotional for me, and it's something I've been dealing with for 27 years. And I just feel like now is the time to show the world and tell the world who I am and how I feel, and that it's okay to be the way that I am.
wow, that's really inspiring.
Great.
I mean,
yeah.
Dr. London, do you have a problem with that? You always seem to have a problem with anyone like sort of becoming confident in themselves.
No, it's. I mean, I don't know what the reason is or any. I don't know enough really to I guess pass judgment or whatever. But it sounds great so far.
So let me just get started. So back in 2015, I hit a very low point in my life, and I just would hit the darkest moment. I hit rock bottom. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know if there was anyone to turn to for this situation.
Yeah. And probably Turn Down for What is playing in the background a lot, right? Because it's 2015.
Yes, 2015, we were just getting out of a lot of dance memes and stuff like that. But yeah, 2015 was a very dark time for me because I hit rock bottom and I just had no one to turn to. But eventually I learned what I am. And this is why I'm here today. I'm here to tell you both and the world that I'm sorry.
Wow, it's okay. Hey.
Take your time.
Yeah, no, it's...
Here, take this.
I
Okay.
am a colonoscopy addict.
Wow, okay. So here, take these Koala Cola brand tissues.
Yeah, take these tissues. Crampy, can you at least help out and pass some of the tissues?
It tastes just like your
It's
Nunda.
it's not necessary that you do that. It's just not.
Crampy, that was kind of inappropriate. But I mean,
Yeah, it's just...
So, yes, I'm a colonoscopy addict. I go once, maybe twice, maybe 8 times a week to random doctors around town to find out if I have colon cancer.
Yeah. And
I was so afraid. I was so afraid.
when you say random doctors, what kind of meaning of random are you using there? Are you just going to doctors' offices with doctors you've never heard of? You just randomly show up? Or is it just like in a different
do
order
you have a
every
system?
time?
Well, at
like
first I
what's-
would go to my primary care doctor, who I knew very well, and we were very close. And so he would, he was nice enough to give me at least one colonoscopy treatment a week. But then I was getting embarrassed with how many treatments I was getting a week. So I would go to different doctors in the area and hope that they wouldn't remember me every time I showed up.
I mean, would they punish you or something? Would they get mad if
No,
they...
they wouldn't. They wouldn't punish me, but I would definitely get embarrassed with how much they would be inside of me.
okay. So I mean, there are a few sort of points that kind of get me about this. For one thing, like at the start, usually it's a gastrointestinal doctor that will be doing. So if your primary care was doing, that's a little bit unusual for them to have the instrumentation to do colonoscopy. But maybe whatever. Maybe that's their part of their specialization. Maybe it's a sigmoidoscopy, whatever. So another thing, are you? I mean, you're under for this, right? Like you're drugged. I ask because that the normal thing is to be under anesthesia.
No, I like it straight up.
Okay, well, you say straight up like it's a drink. This is it's a fairly invasive procedure.
Yeah, I believe like maybe the medical term would be you take it raw.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I haven't used the term raw necessarily. It's usually you would want to, it could be, I say because it's a pretty uncomfortable procedure. It's for our listeners who aren't aware.
Yes. It is. But I will say that there is something about the pain that hurts so good.
So and I just want to clarify for the listeners. So what a colonoscopy is essentially, there's this endoscope. It's a camera on the end of like a thin hose. Right. And so that thin hose.
Well, that was another problem of going to so many doctors, was a lot of cameras would be lost inside of me, that when they put the next camera in, they would find more cameras.
Yeah, they would just, all they're taking pictures of is just other cameras, and that's not helpful at all if you're trying to determine colon cancer.
No, I mean, it was basically like, a camera store in there. And so that's why I was so embarrassed, was I just didn't want doctors to realize that there were so many cameras up there.
I'm sorry. So they lost the the endoscope. They lost the scopes inside of you regularly.
Yeah, well, sometimes the doctor would put the camera so far up that it would snap off and stay inside of me.
Okay, I guess.
And I didn't have the insurance to get it taken out either, you know?
So it's, I guess less expensive. And you never.
I guess that actually is part of another question, which is how are you paying for all of this? You're going 8 times a week for a colonoscopy. I don't know how expensive it is, but I know it's not free. And especially if, your insurance.
It's not.
Won't cover,
it's not cheap at all. Well, my dad had an oil farm, and he passed away a few years ago, and he left me a little bit of money.
Yeah. But not enough money. Not enough money to pay to get the foreign object removed from your body.
Well, and
no.
One thing to say here is,
wow.
A lot of these procedures, a big expensive part of procedures can be that anesthesia, and if you're cutting that out of the equation, that it would. I don't know how much it would reduce the price, but it would reduce the price. It's just kind of an odd thing to me to
Dr. London.
so many things that
you can't. He's trying to be honest with us, and you're calling it odd. You're calling it weird. You're calling him a freak.
I'm sorry, and whenever he's talking about an addiction,
It's okay. No, there's a lot of judgments when it comes to colonoscopy addicts, and it is totally understandable.
Have you tried to seek help about this? Have you tried to?
Yes, so I have. So I actually tried to go see a hypnotist a few months ago to get rid of my addiction, but the problem was that the hypnotist was also a colonoscopy doctor.
Oh,
so
wow.
I know. So when I went under, the trance, I also got a colonoscopy. So I was very confused what I should do. It's like I don't even know if it was 2 birds with 1 stone or a double-edged sword,
And you're sure that they were GI, like they were supposed to be doing a colonoscopy at the same time?
Dr. London.
I'm sorry.
You can't ask what kind of doctor or hypnotist people go to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. And this is addiction.
It's okay. No, there's no judgments here. I want everyone to feel comfortable because this has been a long... Yeah, I'm very comfortable. It's taken me a long time to get to this point, but I will say that I'm at a point in my life where I can only do colonoscopies at least once a week. And not only that, I will say that I'm the only one who gives myself a colonoscopy now.
Wow.
Huh.
I'm the only one.
You've gone green.
And not only that, but right now, I am working on an app that you hook up to your phone, and it will give you a colonoscopy result right there.
Whoa.
It'll give you a result.
Yes, it'll give you a result in 30 minutes. So this app, what it does is it will tell you if you have colon cancer or not.
Yeah.
And it is 2 long sticks that you insert in your anus, and you leave it there for about 30 minutes, and then you will have your result of colon cancer or not. It's not a good idea to live your life in fear, but now you don't have to with colonoscopy.
Wow. This is amazing.
I guess, okay, so one brief question. So you say it sticks up into your anus and it just stays there. So the colon is a long, it's kind of a long thing. And so if it's what you're describing sounds,
if you lay it out straight, it can go all the way to the moon.
Oh.
Well, that's your small intestine, I believe. But still, the colon is not short either.
Well, this is specifically for the rim of your anus.
Is that the medical term for that, Dr. London, is the rim?
The part to me that's confusing, because, it sounds like, at best, this is like a sigmoidoscopy, but it sounds like it's not even as far as that, which, given how often you have these screenings, you wouldn't need to go further. You would only need a real colonoscopy. Unless you have a family history, you wouldn't need it until.
Well, you're telling a person with an addiction that they don't need to do their addiction.
Okay, no, that's right. You're right. If this is what you need,
you're colonoscopy shaming.
And I hate to interrupt this. We're kind of working through this addiction talk.
You don't hate it. It's just a normal part of hosting a podcast. You don't hate it at all.
Okay. In any case, it looks like we have another guest. Hello there. My name is Dr. LondonSmith.com, and this is our producer Cameron, and this is our guest Collin O'Donnell. What was your name?
Hey, I'm Regina Miles.
Hey there. What brings you to the Jock Doc podcast?
Well, when you contacted me, I felt compelled to join you all, just because this is kind of my line of work per se. I don't necessarily have any issues or problems I want to really talk about with you. I'm just really passionate about colonoscopies in general.
Okay. So you're just a fan?
Well, okay, I guess I'll elaborate. First of all, the reason I'm late is because I was at a gallery talk. I just moved over to New York from Kentucky. And so I've been real busy. I've been making the rounds. I've been doing tons of gallery talks all about photographing the colon.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So I heard you right.
I have to say that is a remarkable job.
Thank you.
I'm just sitting here so excited to hear everything about what you're about to say.
Well, I just want to say thank you for your bravery, and thank you to the host for bringing us in this space to discuss this safely.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Cameron, did you find these guests? I don't mean to interrupt and say, because it sounds like they were very specifically contacted. And did you?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're part of a Neopets group.
Okay. And
I was emailed by someone contacting me to come on the show to talk about my line of work. I'm basically trying to get my name out there.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of miscommunication in that I was just wanting to see the line of work that your Neopet was in, like in terms of trading.
This happens a lot.
But I'm glad you're here. Like,
I think there is a huge misunderstanding. I actually prefer Club Penguin. I'm actually not into Neopets at all. I just want to clear that up real quick.
Okay, I need to look over.
I genuinely don't know how you got the invite, but I feel like it works out perfectly.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It was meant to be.
Right.
Maybe the person I was talking to on Neopets forwarded it to you.
That could be. I'm pretty prominent online.
And because Cameron also sends out these emails to hundreds of thousands of people. It's kind of surprising that we only have so many people show up for these recordings, to be honest.
Yeah, and I tell all of them that they're a winner. You've won a spot on the Jock Talk podcast.
Can we get a koala sponsorship right now?
Oh, I mean, just to wrangle this deal. I don't want to. In any case, we could. Let's speed this. So you have a gallery. That's.
Oh gosh. He's oh gosh, Crampy he heard the words Koala Cola and he's like losing it. It's fine.
It's just like down under.
It's fine. It's okay. Okay. It tastes just like down under. That's great.
It really does. And that's
it's great. It's my favorite soda.
And I love having it around the office, and it doesn't get old, and I'm not concerned whenever I feel like there's something solid in it. That's good and reassuring to me.
Remember that shrimp guy from Twitter?
Are you talking about
the guy who found the shrimp in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and then he was, outed as an abuser immediately afterwards?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch was?
I didn't read the story closely, so I don't know. Yeah, it could have been the little chef guy on the Cinnamon
with the
Toast Crunch
mustache.
box. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it's like all that to say, it's fine. If you find something in your Koala Cola, that's not the fault of a company that's just trying to give you some good stuff.
Yeah, it's maybe it's a prize. And speaking of prizes, getting to be on this podcast, Miss Miles, what you said you had a gallery and you like to take pictures of colons, because colons just kind of look like a tunnel with
right
sort of ridges in it, right?
Wow.
It's actually hilarious that you say that, because my Instagram handle is Tunnel Vision.
Oh.
I like that.
That's kind of my whole angle on this. I have been.
What interests you so much about taking these pictures?
Well,
Like, what drew you to the colon as a subject? Why have you made that your focus?
that is a great question. One that I kind of wrestle with every single day. I was
wow.
actually on track to become a dog breeder.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that's a tough track.
Right. And then
You were in your 7th year of school or so whenever you started to debate.
I actually
paths?
wasn't in school at all.
Oh,
I was
wow.
living over. Yeah, I know, right?
Online
So,
classes?
no. So I was actually just, living in Kentucky with my husband, who is now deceased, unfortunately.
Oh,
That
so
kind of was
sorry.
the turning point for why I even got into photography in the first place.
Wow.
Um,
And I'd hate to,
What did he pass away from? If
and
you don't mind
I'm going to say, I bet that it isn't primary biliary cholangitis.
Exactly. See, most people think that. Most people think that my story indicates that I'm doing this because I'm trying to heal from some trauma, which is true. He was murdered by our chiropractor.
Oh.
So, long story short, I kind of wanted to unpack my journey of healing from his murder. He did get a lot of colonoscopies.
Wow.
I
Good
know
for
that
him.
relate to that.
Okay.
Colin.
I was wondering
So-
how it would tie in. Okay.
How many
Right.
colonoscopies did he get?
I couldn't say because I was so focused on the dog breeding. He was always away from the house, and
That
it
makes
drove me
sense.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
I don't want to get into our relationship.
That's totally understand.
More or less, it kind of came to me in a dream. I needed to do something with my life. And so I decided to hit the road, do some photography, and one thing led to another, and I was down the tube. I was in the tunnel vision.
So the way that one thing led to another thing that led to you taking pictures. Okay, I guess so. For listeners who may not know, in a colonoscopy, it's the usual circumstances is that someone is under anesthesia, under the guidance of an anesthesiologist, and there's also a gastrointestinal doctor, and they put that camera up your butt.
Or wet fingers.
Yeah, and so they'll do that, and the thing is that if anyone would be the photographer in that situation, I would think it'd be the gastrointestinal doctor, or previously known as the proctologist. So I'm just wondering how, Miss Miles, how you got into this role that's normally reserved for a licensed medical physician. How did you end up? Did you give the colonoscopies? Because that's where the camera is.
Right. And that's the complicated part of my story. Back when I was in Kentucky, I kind of went under the radar with this per se. Obviously.
You were sort of an outlaw
Yeah, exactly.
proctologist.
Now that I'm over in New York, obviously I'm very qualified at this point. I have all my papers in order.
And what? Yeah,
What
paper?
papers are those? Yeah.
Oh, you mean just the stack that you bought? Yeah, I do see. It's blank paper.
That-
Yeah, I see
She's
that.
talking about
It's
she's
sealed
talking about
still.
the
It's just
purebred dogs that she was breeding, those papers.
Okay, so it's not the stack of printer paper that's sealed that you've got right in front of
it
you.
is very neat, and papers are really together. And I've tried straightening paper that's in that big of a stack before, and it is difficult.
It helps that it's still sealed. Yeah.
I essentially went through this certification process through a friend. He basically gave me the way into I don't know how to say this. Essentially,
I mean,
Did he give you the scope? Is that what he did? I feel like
yes.
that's what would have had to happen. Is you went? Well, you were talking about going rogue. You have a scope now, and you just okay.
That's the best part.
yeah, it sort of sounds like the person who gave you this certification just sort of 3D printed a stick to sort of shove up people. Is that about right?
No, actually, it's way more professional than that. So he is a doctor.
Yeah, Cameron,
and
how dare you? First of all,
I am so sorry. I don't know why I'm so sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't be so accusatory.
I totally understand, based on my background and coming from Kentucky, I get a lot of assumptions.
Exactly.
about
I mean,
my
just
process.
of course, people are from Kentucky famously are just huge liars.
Yeah.
That's what everyone
And
says.
and I guess I expected you to live up to some of the expectations only because like you did, whenever you walked in, you put down your 2 giant jugs of something, what I assume is Kentucky bourbon, with the X's on it, and I
Yeah.
didn't like that. To me, was kind of going into the stereotype, and that's on me for assuming.
Well, we can clear that up.
Well, and
actually.
you had to hold the 2 jugs also with one hand because you had the printer paper in your other hand, which I thought was pretty cool.
Thank you. Well, I do want to clarify that is actually all carrot juice.
Okay.
Oh.
So why carrot juice, if I may ask?
It's good for you, obviously. I hope you know that. I hope you're aware.
Oh yeah. No, yes, that's fiber. Yes.
I basically have this routine where every few weeks I just go on a strict regimen of carrot juice. I have beets for breakfast to get things moving. And then this is the crazy part, and this also kind of ties into my work. Here and there, I will interject eating some liver and onions.
I guess that's crazy.
It is. Yeah, that does seem insane to me. But so, how does that impact your work?
Yeah, how does that
Right.
affect your work?
So obviously that does not seem healthy, right? It's kind of a shock to the system. I'm essentially on a juice cleanse, and then I just eat livers and onions every couple of weeks.
Are these pictures? These pictures are of your colon that you're taking.
I have done a self-portrait series.
Okay, because that's what I'm. Yeah, I wasn't thinking that. Thank you for
But-
clarifying.
I'm a
Cameron.
big proponent of doing things yourself too.
But what I was getting at is doing this diet gets me in the mode. It gets me in that mindset of being a true artist. And my work actually has been compared to Ansel Adams, similar form and structure in his landscape with what I capture. And so I go beyond just capturing the colon. I capture livers. Now,
Wow.
obviously, that involves x-rays, which I have access to that as well. One would say, since I'm not a doctor, or what is that called, a radiologist?
Yeah,
Who
radiology
performs- Right.
and a
Radiology.
Wow.
CT scan. I think would be
And
better
this
for
is-
for the liver. But yeah,
Well,
This is what I love about people like you and me. Like, we didn't just go to some medical school and then pay a bunch of money to do a bunch of stupid classes and then get a degree.
thank you. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
it sounded like you
we
were going to
just
say
said,
but
like,
okay.
well, no, I was just gonna say, like, you don't even know the name of the person who does these x-rays,
Right.
but you're still qualified to use them.
Thank you.
And that's what's so important. It's so snooty to assume you've got to have these degrees and all these things. You don't even have to know what's going on. You don't have to know what the words mean.
And I would say that's the same for my gastroenterologist too. I don't check for their papers ever. I just trust the way that I'm inserted.
Whenever you say the way that you are inserted,
Yes.
do you because normally there's an instrument like we talked about the endoscope, or even you talked about you have a. I guess I should have asked more. The device that you use to the 2-finger. You were referring to like a device that looks like 2 fingers that inserts.
Some would say fingers, other would say long sticks.
Yes, I guess why I'm asking, because you said you insert, and so it just sounds like you're putting yourself in the situation. Whenever it's my understanding that the instrument does that, so I'm wondering, like, are you like holding on to, like, are you just really close in there, or what's?
Well, there is a snake attachment that allows you to go deeper if you so wish.
And is that something you usually do?
Yes, it's a prototype I'm working on right now, but we are hoping to add it to the collection.
Right. And so you say we. Do you have a team working on that? It sounds like maybe do you have a group of other people who are dealing with this addiction and trying to channel it into this business endeavor?
Well, yes, for those of you who are listening, there is help that you can get. It is called CAA, which is Colonoscopy Addiction Anonymous. And it is a group of individuals who meet up every Thursday night at 8 p.m. And what we do is we go around the circle and we tell our story. We tell our story.
Yeah. And what's the, like, you know, with AA and things like that, the goal is to sort of get off of these things, but that doesn't seem to be the goal of this group. What are you guys like doing?
Well, I would say that I would say sobriety does not work for everyone. And I know that's a very controversial statement.
No, I get it.
No, whatever. We're all trying to get off all these, like these bad habits. And
I would say for me personally, I need it here and there to make it to the next day.
Yeah.
And I do it myself. So no one gets hurt
okay.
except for me.
So when you visit doctor's offices, random doctor's offices 8 times a day,
I think
is that
he was
just
saying-
It was 8 times a week, sir.
8 times
that's
a
how he
week,
used
I'm
to do
sorry.
it, though, right? So
Yes.
since he made this app,
He's
He's been able to-
I see.
You can do it in private.
yeah, and okay, so it's
Wow.
And it's still in its
That's amazing.
It's still in its developing stage. So, you know, I don't want to hype it up too much, but I will say that it's 92% accurate every single time.
Wow.
especially if you've already undergone a lot of colonoscopies, even in the last year, but especially in the last, say, 5 years, because you said you're 27, and unless you have a history of another disease, or unless you have an irritable bowel disease, usually the recommendation isn't to get a colonoscopy until you're 45. And so the confusing, I guess the unusual part is the fact that if you're starting at that age, you really shouldn't need to look for cancer until later.
But that's the trick. Need.
You're choosing.
Just because you might need it doesn't mean you shouldn't at least check when you're younger. I mean, and where's the information on all this?
I would assume in books and and things like that. Have you tried looking for this information?
Well, no.
Okay. So, and this is a rare moment for Cameron. Whenever he questions something for just a second, and
I'm starting to feel very attacked right now. Just so you know.
I'm so sorry. I'm not.
No, I am.
not at
I'm
all.
feeling very attacked.
I admire you.
I came here to have a good time and to talk about my journey.
And your journey, has been so brave, and the steps you've taken and how far you've
grown a lot in this. Yeah, I haven't given credit where
Has-
credit's due. Yeah,
Thank you.
Going
Thank you.
from 7,
Thank
8 times
you.
a week.
I mean,
to just the one.
going from 7-8 times a week to doing it from
From-
home
to yourself.
doing it green, so to yourself. You're not wasting.
And
all
it's a
the,
sacrifice. I can't get up there like I want. I cannot get up there like I want to.
Oh wow, that must be difficult.
It's
for you.
so.
Yeah, so hard.
It is so
Wow.
hard.
Yeah, I'm really really sorry. That is very difficult.
That sounds very hard.
And is that the arm that you're talking? Is it a selfie stick? You brought a selfie stick. I wasn't going to ask, but it's what it sort of seems like.
So, yes, you can use it as a selfie stick, but that is why everyone should buy this product, because it is a multi-use product. Not only can you go out on a Friday night to the club, take a picture, but the next day you can wake up and give yourself a colonoscopy and take a picture right up your colon.
Yeah. And you could take a picture of your colon at the club too. That's what people don't know about, like, these sort of portable medical advances.
Yes, but if you're taking your picture at the club, what else are you allowing in your life?
Exactly. Thank you.
Oh, that's okay. I guess I didn't follow that quite as well as in a profound way.
I guess that's true. Sometimes, Dr. Linden, sometimes when people say something like really smart, like it's way too kind of like, I don't know, heady for me. Like I kind of just say I know what they're talking about when I don't.
Yeah.
at all.
I've
That's good. That's good.
I at this point I'm not sure. So but So, and I hate to never mind. I'm fine with doing this part. Fine, Cameron. We have chores to do, and I should have mentioned this to you guys earlier.
No.
But this is a part of sort of all of our episodes. Hey, Cameron, do you want to explain it real quick?
Yeah. For those of you who have just started listening to us, Dr. London and I have been very, very busy. I'm just going to be completely honest. We had joined a roller derby league. It did not go well.
Well, they have a lot of rules.
But it's a lot of rules. It's a lot
you
of
have to
meeting.
wear the rollerblades or the roller skates, whatever, the whole time.
They get really mad if you go home with them without asking.
I wear roller skates.
Just like little things like
And then
that.
I wear plaid.
What was that?
Do you have to wear plaid?
No, for me, I wore ice skates, and that they did not like that.
Well, how does that
They
even work?
hated that.
They would argue that it doesn't.
I don't think it would.
But you should have seen him go.
I was going.
He wasn't as fast as
It was
everyone
a little
else.
bit more clunky.
But he was definitely capable of hurting more people.
Maybe not more. But
In any case.
the type of injuries were unique. They were my style of injuries.
In any case, we sort of neglected all of our chores. We have this huge to-do list of things that we need to do. No one has cleaned the big plate that we all eat off of. That giant plate that all of us eat off of.
Yeah, it's on the spinny thing. Yeah, and then we all.
Yeah, it rotates around and we just eat off of it.
Tie our
with
hands
our
behind our
face.
back, and then we eat off of it. That's right.
We haven't cleaned that in, probably like 3 or 4 years now, which we should really do.
Yeah, you should do
But
that.
anyway, so we created this fun chore wheel that we spin every single week, and whatever it lands on, we have to do that chore, even if we don't want to. Even if that's taking out the trash, Dr. London.
Yeah, no, I told you if it lands on taking out the trash, then we will do it. But until it lands on taking out the trash, we will not do it.
I know, but it's just I know how much you hate taking out the trash.
That's why it's on the chore. That's why we have this whole system. And so anyway, so every week we have new chores added, obviously, and then also every week we knock a chore off. We deal with it.
Yep. So we're taking care of it. So Collin and Regina, do you guys want to give this bad boy a spin?
We'd love to.
Please.
All right, yeah. If you could just.
All right.
Yep. Okay, yeah. You're gonna use your 2 fingers there. Okay. And
Oh nope, he's
is the
starting
proper
to.
method?
I'm gonna use 3.
Nope, you're just gonna put them on don't put them
Nope,
anywhere else. Just
just
put them on the
the
wheel. On the chore
On the
wheel.
the side.
Yep.
It's the side, the rim of the wheel. If
Oh,
that's
nope, you're reaching for the selfie stick. Just put that down. Just go ahead and put that down. And you're just gonna go ahead and spin, all right?
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Oh wow. Dr. London, I can't believe it landed on this. It landed on take out the trash.
Yeah. Do you want to spin it again?
No, Dr. London, that is not how the game works.
Yeah.
These are the rules. This is the contract you signed.
I know I signed it.
That you said we have to do this.
And I'm
chore.
trying to. I'm going to read the bylaws real quick, just to. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah. No, and this is fine. This is normal, and it's okay. So. So the trash can has overflowed at this point.
Yep.
It is what we are standing in currently. So, I am gonna just. The bag is what I have to take out, though, right?
What if just to make this easier, we all pick out our favorite piece of trash out of the pile, and then we tell it to everyone else, and then that's the piece of trash we throw away.
Okay, this is a compromise I could handle.
I like this
Okay.
game.
And then then we can take out the rest of the trash the next time we land.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Honestly, that's practically what I meant whenever I wrote that down on it. Okay, so let's see. I'll start. Okay, let me just rummage around here. Okay. All right, so I have this. It's kind of a, speaking of all this art, it's kind of a large painting of 3 dolphins and
Yep.
magician riding one of the or wizard, sorry, a wizard riding one of the dolphins, and
Yep.
he's okay, and it is so he's yelling something, but it has been smudged over with what I'm suspecting is Crampy Koala's fecal matter.
That must be why you threw it away.
I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know if I threw it away before that, because like I've been working on my painting.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
like I just can never get it right. Like you see the wizard's nose kind of has a slight upturn to it, and
I do notice that, yeah. But I will say that the color pattern and the choices that you made was really great.
Yeah, the black and white with like the smidge of yellow, just across, and like. And that was another thing. Like I wasn't sure about yellow, and now I'm really unsure about it.
What were you trying to say with this piece?
Well, I can tell you what I wasn't trying to say, but the message I got after I painted it. Don't turn your nose up. That's the message I got from it, and so I had to throw it away.
I want to ask you though, why did you throw it away? I mean, this is your work that you're putting into the world.
Well, I messed up at one part, so it was trash.
I think the art is an accident.
Wow.
Unfortunately, Dr. London used to have that attitude, but you lost a lot of patience sort of having that mindset.
I'm sorry, patience as a doctor or patience?
That's for him to clarify. He won't clarify.
Yeah. So that's my art, and I think I will say, sure, art is a collection of accidents in a way, and that's why I believe that this needs to be on display in the landfill. And I say that because, of course, the materials I had on hand were not recyclable.
Maybe that's the final step for your art. Maybe that is the final step.
That's my gallery.
The
Catalyst.
Yes.
Yeah. And so anyway, I hope that a lot of rats and dumpster divers will find their way to it and will appreciate it in its own context. But it really, the smell, when I say the fecal matter from Crampy Koala, it has grown other life. And once again, I think it's a great work that it just needs its own context, which is not on the floor of the studio.
It's not like halfway into the trash can in a podcast studio. It's gonna better be able to tell its story on like a huge heap of
my poop?
diapers.
Hey, I'm sorry, Crampy Koala. So that's
why he's getting furious. Is stealing
he's
his
very
poops
possessive.
like a thing he gets mad at? That's part of the character?
I don't know. This stuff was not in the contract. Like all it just said like him and everything that comes with them. Like all the
contracts I sign.
Yeah. In any case, so that's what I found. So if you wouldn't mind, Miss Miles, or Mr. O'Donnell, would one of you like to check around your feet, feel around until you feel something on the ground there?
Oh, wow. I found a Crampy Koala mug.
Okay.
eBay.
Wow.
Put that on eBay.
Wow. I wonder how much this is worth.
At least $100.
Is that? I mean, I don't know how much mugs cost. I guess, but if that's the standard mug price,
Well,
then
it's
yeah,
signed
sure.
by Crampy the Koala right here.
Hey, okay, calm down.
And he's
Okay.
furious about this as well because it's signed in his fecal matter. And again, you're stealing his fecal matter, which he gets so mad at, which is, I guess, is built into the character. I just don't understand why they would choose that.
I mean, it's branding, it's marketing. Like, I'm not going to pretend that.
Well, it is from the 1999 cartoon series that Crampy was in, so it does have some value.
You know what? I do not know all of the canon and lore.
Yeah, that's on us.
Of Crampy's past, and that is on me because I love Crampy. I love Koala Cola.
Yes. Well, this was in the height of cartoons, and Crampy was so going to make it with this cartoon. It was about to explode. I actually have a lot of knowledge on this because I used to watch this as a kid. And Crampy was signed on for several seasons. But unfortunately, that's when his accident happened.
Oh yeah, you hear that a lot with cartoon characters whenever they gain an accent, and it's just with puberty or whatever, that's just part of what happens with them, and
Yeah, I mean, you go as a child with one voice, and then suddenly you have another voice, and it might not be what
Right,
Hollywood
it's like
wants.
so many cooks in the kitchen at once. And it reminds me, Regina, if you would please talk about like what happened to your husband.
Oh God. Okay.
oh, did we want to bring it down again? Okay, no, go ahead.
Well, okay. I was not thinking about that at all. I was going to mention that. Is his name Crampy? Am I
that's
saying
Crampy
that right?
Koala.
Crampy?
He's a superstar.
I've never heard of him. I just wanted to say he kind of looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid to me.
tastes just like Down Under.
Yep. Tastes just like Down Under,
okay.
Crampy. Just go ahead and just sit
Great,
back down.
just please stay there.
The thing about my husband, and I'm only mentioning this once, we're not going to dive into this at all.
Okay.
You would think by me saying earlier that he was murdered by our chiropractor. This is someone that we both went to separately, obviously. He was not actually murdered during a session. He was murdered completely outside of the workplace.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that he was murdered during the session.
Oh, good. See, I get that a lot. People think, oh, he was murdered by the chiropractor. Oh, he was getting an adjustment, and
Yeah, I thought he
the
was
knife
popped.
went right through his back, right?
Is that a common way to die?
Yeah, you just pop their neck.
No, like people assume that maybe while he was doing an adjustment, he also had a knife and then put it through his back.
Wow. That's really rude of people to just sort of assume that
Yes,
and
thank
then
you.
ask you about it.
I get okay. Just
Yes.
And that must be really difficult to have to deal with people asking those kind of questions.
It is really difficult.
But that's why we're here.
Yeah, to tell your truth.
That's why we're here. We are telling everybody's story. We have to have the courage to tell our story. To tell our story.
And my story is I never even wanted to have tunnel vision.
oh, you never wanted to think about you never wanted to have a
I want to keep it broad because I do get a lot of weird feedback on telling people that I do photograph colons.
Yeah.
And also livers.
right. Yeah. And I didn't mean to go away from this earlier. I
Right. I did lose my husband 8 years ago now, and I moved to New York last year. Actually,
so do we need to go back? I'm just, and I only ask.
My brain it's switching between two different subjects, and I just don't know where to go with it. It's something I'm still processing the death. It's still very traumatic to think about, and so I think that's why I am so immersed. I am so injected in my work.
I have a hypnotist you could see. He could help you.
I would love that.
Is this the same hypnotist that performed a colonoscopy while you were, dissociated or?
Yes, but he's a great hypnotist.
No, okay.
I'm open to that. I would want to try that.
Yeah, you should. It's always good to say how you feel and not hold it in. Because
Tell
that's
your
what I
story.
did.
Tell your story. I'll remember that. That would
Yeah.
be a good little tagline I could use maybe on my business card.
Right.
Tell your story.
You can't hold it in. You
Right.
put it in there for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then you take it out. That's what you do.
You're just going to steal his thing and put it on your business card instantly.
Oh, no. I already have my mission statement on my website. You can go view it.
It just sounded very much like you were just going to take it.
Yeah, when you said that that's what you were going to do.
Well, it's just such a generic statement. I'm instantly inspired right now. I think that would be a great, just a quick line to put on my business card, nothing else, to kind of direct where my work is even going at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the work you guys are doing is pretty amazing. I mean, you've got an artist and you've got sort of a tech innovator over here. Both of these things,
Yes.
coming together.
Well, it takes a lot of practice to get to where I am, and
Well, me
It's-
too. Me too.
I mean, do you
it's
guys
not
think that maybe you could help each other out a little bit? It sounds like she could take pictures that could maybe help with your algorithms and your app.
wow,
That's brilliant.
that's a great idea.
I mean,
Thank you,
Dr. London,
Neopets.
we're making a connection here.
Club
This is
Penguin.
amazing.
Yeah, it really is. I guess Neopets took us further than I ever thought. I know, Cameron, you said that whenever you were going to find guests and do our media outreach, you said all of it
Yeah.
would be done through a Neopets-based approach.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, this is a medical education podcast. Maybe there's another way. And you said no. You said this is the only method you know.
Well, I said, like I pulled up neopets.com and you were skeptical of it. And then I was like, well, check out this other site. And I went to google.com, typed in Neopets, and went to the website that way.
Yeah. So I did appreciate that there were multiple avenues to get to the same destination, and I thought
I didn't know if that was your problem, that it wasn't on Google.
Yeah. Well, once I found out,
Because that's all you do. You just Google, how do I fix this person's disease? And
right. Yeah, and then I
just-
remember
and then it's there.
what the B stands for. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
In any case, and I know we were kind of having a moment there and whatever, but Miss Miles,
Do you want
we're standing in trash, and would you mind picking up something next to you, whatever's next to you there, and
Okay.
and I
guess
hate
I
to
will,
ask our
you
guests to it normally, like most of the time it does not land on trash, so I'm sorry.
Okay. I just want to say I'm very confused right now. I don't know why we are having to go through your trash, but I do appreciate you giving us the opportunity. So let me just see what's down here. Oh, all right. I think I've got something here. It seems to resemble maybe a slinky.
Okay, yeah, and barely even wet, this one. So that's
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the driest slinkies in this pile, I would say.
I'm not seeing any more. Okay, yeah.
yeah. Well, no, it's like, I'd like to flatter you by saying you see it all, but that's a thick layer there, and
It's mostly slinkies.
it's mostly, but there is a grime layer as well, so it can be difficult to discern it from the tile pattern. So
That's the best part.
You have to go beneath the surface.
And sometimes you have to fight.
yeah, and so anyway, so yes, this slinky, of course, we we got the whole batch of slinkies there. I'm sorry, I should have explained because there is a bit of a story behind it.
Well, it's a pretty simple story. It's when we were starting the podcast. We were broke. Do you remember that, Dr. London? We were having to eat PB&Js.
I don't.
We were just
Yeah.
two guys starting the show.
Well, you kept making PB&Js.
Oh, you should have done the carrot juice.
And like
Because I was a
back
doctor,
in those days,
so I had I was eating.
oh, we were
regular
just
meals.
just staying up late in the dorm and just eating those PB&Js, no money, and we couldn't afford like a phone. We couldn't even afford a phone for the podcast.
Not for
and
the
so we
podca-
used the
yeah.
slinky. We put it up to our ears and we would talk through it, and that was most of the way we did our communication.
Yeah, I'll admit that it wasn't. Well, DJ Dylan actually told us that it wasn't very good for communicating. Because it like the metallic feel. Because these are all the metal slinkies. Most of them are
Yeah.
rusted by now. I'm kind of concerned.
Well, yeah, they're wet.
They're
They're
wet,
soaking.
rusted, and pointy. We sharpened them, I guess, was one of the problems. Because we were afraid. Well, because Cameron, you were afraid that the sound wouldn't travel fast enough unless we made it sharp. Because sound is supposed to be
Yeah.
sharp. So
Sound is supposed to be like it suddenly hits you.
yeah. So
Nature teaches us these things.
Cameron, do you want to pick up one piece of trash? Or if there's
yeah.
or if there are a few attached to each other, I don't know what your preference. Really.
Yeah, this is embarrassing. Like, it's one of our failed endeavors before the podcast, but it's our Jock Dog suit of armor that we had built.
Oh boy, man, that does take me back.
Yeah, because we were So I guess we don't really talk about this much. But this podcast really started as a medieval times sort of restaurant concept.
Yeah, we were really into LARPing, but like just for meals.
Yeah. And it evolved over time and eventually became a podcast. But that took like 7 or 8 years of really trying to get this medieval times, Jock Doc themed medieval times.
Yeah. The name stuck.
Restaurant going.
The name stuck, and that's.
Oh yeah. We were like, look, we're just going to create this restaurant. It's going to be themed after medicine and health, Jock Doc, and they're going to be wearing a suit of armor.
Yeah. And so anyway, so it is a bit clunky, but you want to zip me up? I want to. I want to see it still.
You want
to
try it on?
I just want to see it still fits.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah. Okay. No, it's really squishy in here.
It's wet as well. All of it is wet.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like I can hear some sloshing sounds, and every time I turn and like lean a certain way, I feel all the contents shifting.
Oh yeah, it'll do that.
There's something. What is here? Oh, okay. Crampies and could you unzip me? Please?
I don't want to mess with it. He's gonna get pissed. He's gonna get so mad. I'm not leaving. You are an adult. You can deal with it. He's gonna get pissed if I get in there and try to yank him out of the suit.
Okay, well, I guess time to kind of wrap things up. I'm getting increasingly uncomfortable here. So, thank you so much to everyone for being on, Mr. So Collin O'Donnell. Is there any way for listeners to keep up with you after this? I know you're pretty excited about your new product.
Yeah, so I'm so excited about my new product, but I do have to say I have a friend, and you can find him on Instagram at Honor Connor. That's HONNOR. And I just want to say one last thing. I do not like anal sex at all. I do not like fingers in my butt at all. I am strictly a colonoscopy addict. There's a big difference. I just need that to be clear. Many people think that these two things are tied together. They are not. Okay? Is everyone clear on that?
Yes.
It's a shame that people throw this kind of stigma on mental health issues and, addiction, that people try to assume like, oh, if you're depressed, you must, just hang out in the corner all the time.
Right. Yeah, it's so many stereotypes.
If you're addicted to colonoscopies, if you have to have something stuck up your butt all the time, then that means that you're somehow gay or something. And which, by the way, is fine either way. It's just, one doesn't mean the other.
Right.
And that's important to bear in mind, I think.
Thank you. I have to say, I'm so thankful I came on here and I could really share my truth. I could share my story. And although I felt a little attacked at one point, I do want to say I am so thankful to be on this show and to reach out to other colonoscopy addicts out there.
And I apologize.
No, it's okay. And I just want to say, you are not alone. You're never alone. And now, with the new product, you don't have to be alone. Because wherever, whenever, you can take sticks, and put it right up there.
And I guess, Miss Regina Miles, did you have any way for listeners to keep up with you? You said tunnel vision.
Yes, just tunnel vision on Instagram. That's where you can see some of my work, some of my personal life as well. If you're interested in that diet I mentioned earlier, I did want to mention that is a great way to kind of connect with whatever your art is. I should have clarified earlier, the reason I eat so much liver and onions is because it connects me with my character. It connects me with my subject, which usually is the liver, but most often...
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't make that connection, that you eat the things that you're looking at.
No, not necessarily. And I should have clarified this. I should have elaborated earlier, but by interjecting that liver and onions into my diet... it's bringing me back to that place where I'm focused on what my subject is. And that's really my whole mission, is to just focus on the subject and nothing else. And so if you want to follow me there at Tunnel Vision, I also have some meditation practices you can follow along with to kind of, again, connect with your work, figure out what you even want to do with art in general. You can also message me on there. Maybe, if you have any connections in the doctor, medical world, whatever you would want to call that.
Yeah, the healthcare, yeah.
Yeah, healthcare. Thank you. And then you can find me at reginamiles.com. And I did promise my friend I would plug her on here. Her handle on Instagram is, I believe you call it Solskin. That is SOLSKINN. She is Norwegian, so that's why it's, kind of a weird name there. But she does photography as well. And so I try to plug her whenever I can, since I do,
Well, yeah, you didn't have to make fun of your friend's name. I mean, that seems kind of
I'm so
rude,
sorry. I did
but-
not mean to come off as if I was making fun of her.
And I hope she doesn't take it that way.
I just think it's good to be upfront whenever you're presenting yourself as an artist. You don't want to be ambiguous, and so I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's not me that you have to be worried about, I guess is what I'm getting at. But I guess I should plug real quick. Koala Cola. It's the best drink out there, really.
Koala Cola, it's the best drink out there. It's the spiciest drink out there. And look, was that car found in the parking lot of Koala Cola? Yeah, it was.
It was found there.
No one is saying that the car was not found
And
there.
it's not bad for it to be found
No
there.
one was saying that the car was not found there.
Cars are found so many places.
I guess I just don't understand why. Yeah, why does it matter? A car in a big case, like a police case, was found at the high school. So that's the high school's fault? That's a principal's fault?
It's
No.
ridiculous. People can park in so many places, and maybe it's just it was the only place that didn't charge for parking, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, there could have been so many reasons.
Yeah, and it was okay that what they found in the car, the amount of it doesn't matter how many severed limb.
It's not for me to know what's in someone else's car.
No.
That is their privacy.
Oh, private. Yeah. And no matter how many, just how much fluid and how many just furry little limbs were in there, and the obvious, even the facial expressions showing the struggle and the excruciating pain at the end. That's not our business. That was just in the car.
Yeah. And also, because this is Australia, which is very hot, and you can have a mirage, so you can see a bunch of, bloody limbs, little furry limbs, and that's not even really there.
It's not even there. And anyway, that's just a little statement that we had to read off, and it's and I love to read these off because it just clarifies how great the product of Koala Cola is. And
we could plug the Patreon as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too.
Or
yeah.
you think there's too many people already subscribed?
I do. We are overwhelmed at the. No. We can do it.
I think we can do it. I think we can squeeze in a few, a couple
We are
more.
just under capacity. So
yeah,
it's the Jock Doc Podcast Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/JockDocPodcast, you'll find us there. There's a $3 tier to get access to a backlog of episodes that we've got on there. And these are better episodes than what you're listening to. What you're listening to.
These are very special episodes for very special fans, not for commoners who are going to listen to the main feed.
Yeah. And if you're listening to the main feed, and you've listened to the Patreon, you know what we're talking about. You get
exactly.
it.
And don't talk about what
don't
happens
talk about behind the paywall
on the Patreon, because it's
I
too
can't
good.
even. Yeah. All right. Well, so thank you again to Mr. Collin O'Donnell, for being on. Thank you to Regina Miles. Thank you, Cameron, for arranging through the Neopets for all that. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the House. Digital in the House.
DJ Dylan voices, most sexy. DJ Dylan voices, most sexy. DJ Dylan
Has been true artist.
DJ Dylan
Has been true artist.
DJ Dylan. DJ Dylan.
The true artist.
DJ Dylan.
The true artist.
My name is drlondonsmith.com, and this has been the Jock Doc Podcast.
See ya.